Hey guys, what's up? My name is Tom Spark. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the quiet crisis building the economy right now that not many people are talking about. What is this exactly? Well, it's immigration. We've seen the toughest immigration crackdown in quite some time. ICE is kind of shoveling people out of the country in loads, and while it's not as much of a trending topic right now, lots of people are afraid to go to work because they don't want to be exported out of the country. Now, in this video, I'm not necessarily discussing the political means or if immigration, illegal or not, is valid. We're simply talking about the effects on the economy. And what's happening when lots of immigrants get kicked out of the country? Well, we start running out of workers. Since the start of 2025, the Trump administration has removed over 1 million foreign-born workers outside and removed them from inside the United States. The economic consequences are already rippling through our economy, and you might just not have realized it yet, and neither have the stocks. Today we're going to break down exactly what's happening. If you guys want to check out my pro website, down in the description down below, recessionistpro.com, it has a freemium and paid model that gives you a number that predicts when the recession is going to happen. There's also tons of other resources on the website. Now, the main kind of concern is that the immigration policies going on right now are causing labor shortages. And those labor shortages are driving up wages and prices. A lot of companies don't want to pay these increased wages, so they're turning to AI. I went to Wendy's today and I talked to a computer when ordering my meal. That's one good example. Perhaps what's most concerning, though, is that in October 2025, the U.S. Labor Department itself issued a strange warning. They said, and I'm quoting here, that the near total cessation of new immigrant inflows is threatening the stability of domestic food production and consumer prices. When the government's own Labor Department is sounding the alarm on this kind of thing, when it comes to just food being made, you know something is happening, but no one's really talking about it. Well, except for that, but it's not really in the news per se. Now, if you look at how many farmers are American-born versus foreign-born, it's pretty crazy. 68% of U.S. farm workers are not born in the United States. So more than 2/3. Now, a lot of these workers are being deported, fleeing, or they're simply too scared to show up to work. So as you can imagine, this is not good for the economy. Not only that, but the Labor Department has come out and said that qualified American-born workers are not going to make themselves sufficient to replace the amount of foreign workers. People are leaving jobs that are not being filled. So what happens to all the food that's not being farmed? It's rotting. And what happens to food prices? Well, they go up because there's less of it, supply and demand. Now, I'm not making this up. Go to the grocery store right now. You'd probably be surprised to see that egg prices are more expensive than ever. Food and grocery are more expensive than ever, and most things are, including housing. Housing prices continue to go up because there's less supply, which means prices go up. So if you're hoping to get a house and you hate immigrants, well, good luck. Who's going to build the houses that you need? Immigrants make up roughly 25 to 30% of the construction force nationally. And if these 25 to 30% of people just automatically disappear, which is what Trump wants to happen, who's going to replace all those workers? In states like Texas and California, the number is actually closer to 40%. And roughly half of those people are undocumented. A survey in 2025 found that 28% of construction firms have already lost workers due to immigration raids or fears in just a 6-month period. Labor shortages are now the leading cause of project delays, cited by nearly half of all contractors. Now, research backs this up. Areas with tougher immigration enforcement, like LA or Miami, for example, saw lasting drops in home building and, you guessed it, higher housing prices. Fewer workers means less supply, and that means higher costs for everyone. Now, you might be saying, well, who cares about farming and housing? Well, it's actually affect other fields as well, including tech. Now, tech also has a lot of immigrants that come to the country hoping for a better job, and they're very qualified and educated people hoping to get tech jobs. But the current administration has imposed a $100,000 fee for H-1B visa applicants chosen in the lottery. So now they've made it even harder for smart and qualified people to come get tech jobs in the United States. So tech jobs are having trouble finding people as well. What are they doing? Well, they're just moving the jobs overseas. So American workers are not being hired. They're just finding cheaper workers elsewhere. So Canada, India, and other countries are being hired to do work in the United States. So basically, instead of just hiring immigrants in the United States, they're just hiring immigrants who live elsewhere. Good job. So the jobs didn't necessarily disappear. They're leaving America, which is why job numbers are going down. Now, we could see other countries having examples of why this is bad. We could take a look at Brexit, for example. When Britain left the European Union and ended free movement of EU workers, they expected British workers to just simply fill the gaps right. But it didn't happen. Instead, they got severe labor shortages, from farms to truck drivers to hospitality. A government commission report acknowledged that reduced access to EU workers contributed directly to Britain's farm labor crisis and food supply gaps. Now, the US is pretty much heading down exactly the same path. So what does this all mean in conclusion? Well, when you pull workers out of the economy faster than they can be replaced, you could create a supply side shock. Fewer workers means fewer output. Less output means higher prices. Higher prices means inflation. The Peterson Institute projected that mass deportations would significantly decrease employment and increase inflation by 2028. Another study estimates that current policies could cut annual U.S. economic growth by almost one-third by 2035. So inflation's going up, jobs are going down. This could create a recession, and then at the same time, everything starts going down. If we're in a recession, inflation goes down, jobs go down, everything's just going down, and that is what a recession is. So guys, stay tuned on the channel for more updates about this one. I'll let you know if I see anything else about it, but it was interesting doing research and finding out more about this. And I'll see you in the next video very soon.